game of Geometry Dash. We're here on Death Moon again. 5,075 attempts so far. We're really bad. Doesn't matter. Nothing matters. The only thing that matters is that you don't give up. Unless you really want to, or you just sort of want to. I thought I was giving up yesterday. I sort of felt like it, but you know, you can just stop playing, you know, not everything has to be the end of the world. I'm not telling you that, I'm telling myself that. But anyway, I would just, oops, yeah, that was bad. Shouldn't have held there. Knew better. You jump once there, then you drop, and then it's your 3. You know, with 5,075 attempts under my belt, I should know better, right? But I figured we could add some more failure. After all, if you want to be prepared for life, prepare yourself for failure. You won't need any preparation for success when it finds you. Especially in Geometry Dash. You know. Ah, well. As I was saying, after thousands and thousands of attempts on a level, you can just sort of feel yourself losing, and it doesn't matter. All you have to do is keep on trying, or not. That's fine too. I could just decide this level is too hard, but I don't think it is. I just, you know, I might need to do... Okay, well, I just might need to do it a couple thousand more times. Which, you know, isn't much. Plenty of people play a level 10,000 times. You know, probably not an easy demon, but what are you gonna do? I'm not very good. Whoops. Yeah, I'm never gonna beat this level. It's okay. I'm just gonna stop imagining that I might, and use this as a sort of meditative exercise. You know, we'll focus on the flashing reds and blacks, like a sort of like a Virtual Boy aesthetic. For anyone who knows what I'm talking about, anyone who knows what a Virtual Boy is relatively unlikely to be watching this video. But we'll just continue on very, very carefully and easily. Getting through that portion seems good. Nope. Seems like I still fail. It's alright. It's alright, because I'm never going to actually beat this, so it doesn't matter. Any individual death is essentially foretold, right? Somewhere between 8 and 9,000, that would be a good number to hit. Okay, well, we can just make careless mistakes like that. Maybe after 20,000 attempts. Yeah, Roy Quibi, exactly. The red VR thing from the mid-90s. I thought they were very cool when I was a child. You know, like Walmart had like a mock-up of it. Blah blah. Why didn't I? got distracted by not having to do anything in the game for a second. But yeah, Walmart had like a mock-up of it where you could a display of it where you could play, and they had like Mario Tennis, I think was the game that you could play. And I just thought it was amazing. I loved the idea of having the screen that you put your face on and nobody else could, you know, like see what was going on. Hey Sophia, how's it going? I am never gonna beat this level, but I'm fine with it. But my family never ended up getting a Virtual Boy. My parents rightfully called that it wouldn't be that good, and they were like, wouldn't you rather start saving up for Nintendo 64 instead? And I was like, yes, very clearly. Because like my family didn't have tons of money growing up, but I've always been like super obsessed with video games, so I would like, you know, do chores and find stuff to do for people at church or, you know, my neighbors or whatever for whatever money I could get and save up for like a couple of years to contribute to whatever grand video game / computer obsessive venture I had. And there we go. Button got stuck. That's all right. That's okay. It happens. It happens because I have to use a controller. Oh well. We are never, ever gonna beat this. That was close. We really let it go too far down there. It was not a lot of leeway left there. Let's just... Okay. Great. You remember no 6-year child consoles for the Wii and Wii U? Yep. Yes. I was born in 1986, so... No, I remember when my family got the NES, and it was basically the happiest I had ever been or will ever be. So like whenever I was 4 years old and I didn't have to go to school yet, and I was just 4, so I didn't have a lot of chores in spite of being, you know, like bright and stuff. So I could just sit at home, and my younger brother was an infant, and I could just play Super Mario Bros. 3 and eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches occasionally, and just play Super Mario Bros. 3 all day long when my siblings, my older brother and sister, were at school. And it was just like, it was the greatest year of my life. Nothing will ever be that good again. That one year where everybody, you know, stayed home due to events in the universe was pretty sweet because I was playing World of Warcraft, but I was still an adult and there were like, you know, worries and bad things were happening. Whenever I was 4 playing Mario, you know, like that was just a charmed time. Arclight, you're making a challenge for me? I don't know why. I'm unlikely to play it. No, what challenge do you think I could possibly beat? Super Mario Bros. 3 is your favorite NES game? It is a good choice for it. I would say it probably is mine. So I learned to read from the first Final Fantasy game. Like I sat and had my mom like tell me what the words were and what they meant and stuff, because my uncle gave me his old issues of Nintendo Power, and I thought like all the pictures about Final Fantasy in it got stuck again. Well, oh well. Like all the pictures of the swords and the magic and stuff, I just thought was very cool. Probably reminded me of Sword in the Stone, which was a cartoon that I loved very much then and now. Yeah, anything that's going to require like some amount of focus, I'm not doing anything until I beat this level. And I've already not beaten it 5,000 times. So, you know, if you want to make something, make it for the joy of making it. I'm not... If I beat this level, I'm ending the stream. to soak in the happiness. And if I don't beat this level, I'm not playing something else instead. But thank you for the spirit of it. I just, I don't... Look, if you make a level that's kind of hard, I'm super bad, and I'll only play it for like a couple minutes and get frustrated and turn it off and not play it anymore, right? Because I'm trying to beat this right now. And I can't. I crashed again. But, so like, I basically never play anything except the level I'm playing. That is unlikely to change. I appreciate the sentiment, though. I crashed again. I'm so bad. I can't fill up my mind with anything but one level because I'm so very stupid. I'm like real good with words and stuff, but not a Geometry Dash. Cause like I don't want to be dismissive, but like literal children are so much better at this game than I am, and and not even just a little bit better, like a whole lot better. They'll just be like, oh yeah, I beat this level while you were not beating this level. I'm supposed to be in class. I'm actually playing this on a phone underneath my desk with my toes or something, you know, that kind of thing. But, you know, it's not a competition against all the young people of the world who are much better at this game than me. It's just a competition against myself to, like, you know, go crazy doing the same thing forever. Why would that be a competition? Well, anything could be a competition if you keep score. And that's 5,104 deaths. Yeah, see, you know, this is going to start a whole subgenre of Geometry Dash Challenge where people, you know, like play, and then people are like, oh man, I used to be a tap dancer whenever I was a kid, and then they discover that the foot input is like twice as mighty as the hand, you know, in the hands of an experienced tapper. Because you could do like a Dance Dance Revolution thing on like a floor mat. This is the kind of world I want to live in. And then the world would be full of people that not only were better than me at Geometry Dash, but they were better at playing it with their feet. That's the kind of way I want to change the world, you know. I want to inspire people like that one day to do something silly just to style on me. I should use my wish to not die in this game. But I used it to be funny instead. Not very funny, only a little bit. I'm never gonna beat this. It's fine. I should stop saying it. Just because it's true doesn't mean it's all right to say. There's a lot of things that are true that are deeply impolite, or so it has been explained to me. Blah. Not all the pros are young. There's some old people too. That person whose name you're saying, that must be the EVW person that I hear so much about. I think principally because he also is like an old person. Okay. Okay. Sure. I mean, I know you can die there. I just literally don't know if I could do it on if I was trying to. There's just very specific places you can jump. Okay, well there by not jumping you can die, which I instinctively knew all along, actually. Almost cracked my head there. Would have been, you know, just normal. Button stuck, not ideal. I wonder, I should look up what the button press rating for these controllers is. Is it 50,000? Is it 100? Because we've definitely already hit the A button 50,000 between the other games I play, and then, you know, 50 times as much A button pressing in this, if not more. The game helpfully keeps track of it. Alright. Let's just beat it. That would be fun. No, I shouldn't have said that. That's stupid. Okay. Hold through all of this. Triplets. And through here, all right, new personal best, time for dual wave. Let's slow the beating of the heart a little bit. Okay, why don't I, well, you know, whatever. Well, I could. Fantastic. At least the internet will be pleased with the number. We are not gonna, you know, verify any of the innuendo by, you know, reading out what people have to say about it. We'll probably just say 68% if people get too out of hand. But anyway, there we go. 69%. Very nice. Very nice indeed. Super excellent. Great improvement. If only I hadn't... Man, my heart got all weird whenever I finally got a little bit further there. And then just, like, totally bricked it, you know. Ran right into the very first thing to do, which is not do that. You know, I clearly hadn't mentally prepared enough for the wave. Oh, Missed it. I did that yesterday too. There's just a very specific interval that you can input in there where you miss the whole platform, because you're not supposed to input it all as you're descending down those 3. But if you go just over the top of it, then you don't hit it and skate down, which I didn't know was possible till yesterday where I died there, but oh well. I said then I couldn't do it on purpose if I had wanted to, and that's still probably true, but you say I sound like the old #1 Geometry Dash player? That's funny. You mean like in tone of voice? Certainly not in philosophical aspect of the game. Oh no, I died there. Wonderful. I forgot to jump. I was looking at chat. That's what I get. That's what I get. You know, sometimes if you want attention, it can lead to poor results for poor Sir Green Blockington, the long-suffering. Sometimes I just get like so in the zone, like I feel like I can feel the button presses like reverberating through my thumb, and then sometimes the button gets stuck like right there and it doesn't feel so good. You know, you guys probably know what I mean. You know, like you just not like in a winning run even, but just like there's some little segment where it's like, oh yeah, I'm really getting the button presses here, you know, like this feels better than all the other times I've just jumped over these towers. And that's how that run was going. The dual section, it felt very crisp. Like a tiger, as the film would have it. I'm not good at that accent. I don't know if watching the film would make one good at the accent. I'm pretty sure he's not doing a good one. The film being, of course, Austin Powers 3. But we'll just get through this. Hello, Dish Soap. Okay. I really thought I had the timing on that, but I totally missed it. Feels bad. He died at 95 on Bloodbath? Oh, that's rough, man. Well, if you can get to 95, you can get to the end, right? So I'm sure it will just, in addition to being very painful, it'll inspire you to push forward for victory. I don't know if you can die at 95 on this level. I would lose my mind if I died at the very end, though. I think 95 is like a ship section where you can't die yet. There's just a very, very small chance to die at like 98 or so, where I don't even think I've died on practice. But you could. Okay. But whenever I was playing Shiver, what I consider to be my hardest demon, not a very hard one, but I only have 4. But I died a few times at the late spider jumpy section. If you know the level, you know what I mean. You know, just there at the end. But like, you know, 87, 90, and if memory serves, I had like like a really, really late loss, and then I just, I just pushed forward, and like 2 or 3 runs later, just got it. But that was already after, like 2,600 attempts or so, although that number quite pales in comparison to what we have on Death Moon now, because this is what, like 5,150 attempts? I'm so bad at this game. But it doesn't, it doesn't matter. We must imagine Sisyphus happy, right? Right. Oh, it got stuck. It got stuck and I cannot unstick it. Terrible. Terrible feeling. Oh, well, Nah, don't even verbalize the idea that I could have done it sometime in the past. It's not true. Something else would have killed me if it weren't the sticking inputs. It just, whatever. You gotta live with the human body that you're in, right? You can't just get cybernetic hands that allow you to use a mouse. You can't. It's been explained to me that I can't afford them. Not really. The doctor didn't even say it was an option to get robot hands like Luke Skywalker got. And I remind you, that was like a really long time ago. Sure, it was far away, so some of the technology would have been lost, but it was also a very long time ago. And you would have thought that we would have caught up on the robot hand technology, but alas, it is not so. Oh man, if we ever figure out the robot hand super well, I'm going to be right there getting it. That'll be my villain origin story. I'll try to rob an offshore oil rig for its gold bars. I'm being purposely ridiculous so it doesn't sound credible. So that I can pay to finance my robot hands. You don't want to joke about doing a crime that would actually work, after all. First of all, it makes people nervous, and second of all, what if you need to do it for your robot hands? It would show premeditation. As your attorney, I advise you need to keep all your avenues open so that you can one day use those avenues to secure robot hands. I crashed. No, I don't want to talk bad about my hands, not in front of my hands, which are, better than they used to be, thanks to the hard work of my surgeons, but still would be nice if I had some robot hands and I could play this game with a mouse. I'd be so much better. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to go off on it. I've already been talking about it too long. Positive feelings. How about we got a new personal best? That's a good feeling. We will think about that and not my ridiculous human body that I am trapped within. I crashed again. Not ideal. Could have been better. And again. Okay. That was the top of those pyramids. It juts out more than the sides do, even though the pixels look like they're all in a line, but I've known that for a couple thousand attempts now. So really no excuse to take a line that poor. Not that anybody was asking me to explain why I killed poor Sir Green Blockington again. Poor little guy. He suffered so much. And yet there's no end to it. Yet there's no end to it at all. Alas, alack. Okay. Don't know if I've died that way before. Very interesting. I think I did actually physically jump in my chair. I thought I missed a jump. Shouldn't be living in the past. We're still alive. Okay. We could do that. That would work. That would get us right back to the beginning of the level again. Sure, and it would. Great. Fantastic. Wonderful. Elite performance indeed. Back to it. Poor Sir Green Blockington. He really thought that was going to be the last time he had to see it. Nope. Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. He's wrong. Button stuck, and then unsticking it didn't work so good. Oh well. I should change the input to one of the other buttons on the controller and start cracking it for a while. After all, if we get 50,000 presses on the A button, we should too get 50,000 out of X, Y, and B, and then never play this stinking game again. Ah. I need to DIY my own single button controller that I can press my thumb with. Out of, interchangeable parts made of clothespins or something. I'm gonna get right on that. That and the tap dancing inputs, like we're gonna change the whole scene. Well, thought that was safe. Very clearly wasn't. But like at least 1,000 of these deaths are dying at the very beginning, right? And that barely counts, except in the way where it literally counts as like one single number among a field of thousands of others. But they don't matter, right? I mean, does Sir Green Blockington feel pain? If you prick him, does he bleed? Hath he eyes? Hath he lips? I mean, clearly no. He has no dash, and he must scream. Been bringing that up a lot lately. Just talking to someone at work about, the possible dangers of computers in the future. And I pointed out that they were all predicted by sci-fi writing that was, I mean, mainstream 30 years ago. So in a way, the imminent destruction of the world is the realization of a fictional dream, which makes sense. If magic suddenly were real, wizards would probably organize themselves on the basis of some nerdy pre-existing magical construct. Somebody would call themselves Merlin, and everybody would have to go along with it on account of the magic. And you wouldn't even be able to argue with them about whether or not they were literally Merlin or not. That's just one problem that would happen if there were wizards. I'm sure we can all imagine a couple more. One thing is they would also be able to be, good at Geometry Dash. They just wouldn't make mistakes like me. If I was a wizard, I would just travel back in time whenever I was going to die in Geometry Dash and then make that not happen anymore. Wouldn't that be cool? And everybody would just be like, wow, what a good Geometry Dash player. They wouldn't know I was safe scumming IRL. But, if I could time travel, that's what I would use it for. Just like to, not make a mistake at work. Or to, like, not drop something on the floor. Oh, man, I hate dropping stuff. It makes me so mad. Other people would try to, like, change timelines as if they've never seen a movie about time travel. But you never see a movie about the cook who discovers he can time travel and just uses it like 95% of the time so people think that he's good at his job, but leaves the other 5% there so that people don't get too suspicious. You never see that movie because it'd be boring. You could just live your whole life that way, and no one would ever know. It's clearly not me, because if I was a wizard, I wouldn't have died there. I would have just done that right instead. Oh, I died that weird way again. Great, wonderful, magnificent. So bad. Nah, 15% is real easy to get to. Because all those interior, beginning ones, interior is not the right word. I don't know why I used it. All of the early stuff is just like a hold and like a pause. Anybody can learn that. It's this part that would take just a little bit of practice. It took me like 600 attempts. Okay, bad angle. But I'm like so bad. Because, like, sure, like, I think the only thing that separates me from worse players is they may have given up by now. Instead of just, like, throwing a little fit and quitting for the day like I did yesterday. Or, like, the 3 or maybe 4 other times that I've quit this game. That's what separates me from people that are worse. Not, like, my ability at all. Only, like, my relative tenacity. Because plenty of smarter people, no, it's not the right word, I say it ironically. Plenty of people with a different way of judging the worth of their time would have said, alright, 5,000 failures, I'm out. But not me. Also, like 1,000 of those were at the very beginning and barely count, except, in the way that they obviously count. But it's like gambling if there were no stakes, because any run has all the hope. Not anymore. Okay, button stuck, that's fine. Any run has all the hope that you could need for success, right? Because only in the moment of death are the probabilities of success collapsed against you, right? There's precious little time, even in a long level like Death Moon, to do anything wrong. See, I did something wrong there. Immediately perish. vanish from the earth forever, only to be reborn again to suffer. I don't know if I've ever died there. That's interesting. Strange. Okay. Very weird. I'm dying all sorts of ways that I don't normally. That's fine. Terrible. This song's really got a driving beat. And it falls out completely in what could be described as a compositional choice. I like this part of it though too. It feels like more than one song. Okay. Oh, now I see it. Now it's all together. Okay. That's right. The hitbox problem on that side too. Pretty bad. Yes, Longle, indeed. An accomplishment indeed. We went from 64% up 5%. Although the more I think about it, I should probably just list it at 68%, huh? I'd probably be wise. That way people don't have too much fun. The last thing I would ever want is for people to enjoy themselves. I want people to exist in a state of, you know, existential misery like me. That's not true. I'm only joking. I don't want people to be like me. First of all, it wouldn't work. Nobody would want it, and they wouldn't be able to do it either. You have to live a very specific, strange life in order to be like me, and no one would want to. But that's not the point. I don't want people to have too much fun, though. Just a reasonable amount of fun. And certainly no fun that's going to, you know, scandalize other people. Because often it is hard for people to know, you know, when to stop. I would have preferred to have gotten 100% on the level there. And then turned off the stream at like 20 minutes. That would have been my ideal. But it did not happen. Instead, a fiery crash. All right. Okay. Okay, well, that's fine too. Don't know why I thought the roof was safe there. I should have remembered that it wasn't. It's in the later segment. Man, I was behind that whole time. That was rough. Great. I was close, almost bonked my head on the door there. Took it way too sharp, ended up getting away with it though. Great. Don't normally die there. Have a pretty strong UFO section there actually. I actually quite like that section, although I die on it all the time. I think it's a very like strong section. It's both like entirely sight readable by a talented player and just tricky enough with timings to be, you know, challenging to a bad player like me. It's rewarding to do right. There's different pathing to take through it as far as, you know, timings and inputs go, and I like that as well. Just a really strong section that I am bad at. Okay. Oh. Don't know if I've ever fallen over there. Hello, just a normal person. I am failing at Geometry Dash. How are you doing? Arclight, you're gonna make a humanly impossible memory level. All memory levels are humanly impossible if the human is me. I crashed again. Really thought I had that. Very, very clearly did not. Someone as hard as the Sonic Wave. Wish you luck. I know that level. A person that I am vaguely acquainted with on the internet has that as their hardest after quite some time. So I know that's a tough one. It's a good one. What are you working on now? Bad. Just bad. I stand by it. I don't care how many times I die there. I think the UFO section's brilliant and it's super well done. There's a lot of ways to do it right, and I just didn't choose a single one of them there. And that's my fault, not the fault of the design. There's some stuff in this level that I don't like. Actually, yeah, no, I kind of like all of it. It's fine. It's all fine. It's an eminently fair level, which it's how it was basically pitched to me, and it is, it's a fair, reasonably sight-readable level that doesn't require you to remember any silly tricks that it's going to play on you. Like putting that there. So you beat Cataclysm and you believe me? Oh, don't believe in me too soon. After all, it's been 5,150 or so attempts, and I'm still here. But I haven't given up yet, and I only sort of pretended to only one time. But it wasn't like really quitting. I even said that I might play, tomorrow. That's not the same as quitting. I just sort of teased the idea of giving up. Where I was like, I don't know if I'll play again. You know how, like, a person who's very old will sometimes act like a petulant child? That's me. That's all. That's me. That's just me. Alright, let's just not... Let's just not make any sudden movements. Blah, blah, blah. Terrible. And it's... Because all you have to do is get through the diamonds, and then, you could die on that next slow cube part, but it's kind of a gimme, right? It's a gimme. And then you have, it's like 60 to 63, 64%. That's just literally a hold. Why don't I jump? Why don't I jump? That's just a hold, and that's a gimme. And then you got, your little triplet mini UFOs, and then you got 4% again up to 69 where I died. And if I just don't crash right into the first input point of the dual wave, it'll be fine. And then I can die like 6% later on that shit part. Sleet, you say today's the day? I don't know about that. Say a high attempt count could mean I'm almost there. Yeah, maybe. This is the most I've played any level in attempt count. Probably in hours also. But I spent just like a brief afternoon playing Club Step on practice, and it took me more than 2,500 attempts just to get through it one time on practice, and I was like, whatever, I'm never going to beat this. Because I was like, it was about as many attempts as it took me to actually beat Shiver as it took me to just get through Club Step one time. I could have done it slightly faster if I had like more aggressive checkpoints, you know, but still. And this is, you know, twice that many attempts, but... well, why don't I just not do that? Thanks, Q. You know, it was an ugly death. It didn't need to happen, but at least we got a couple more % on. It's the only run we've got past 50 today, but, you know, we've been doing some all right. You know, we've been kind of sort of getting some all right. But we're having trouble, I mean, just like even getting through this part apparently. It's fine, it's cool. How obnoxious. But of course, some of the deaths are me just like wanting to change the song. Say it's midnight for you. You just found the stream and started watching it. Well, welcome. You know, thanks for hanging out. Yep, it's 4:30 in the afternoon for me. That must be well, at 8, that's like straight on Greenwich Mean Time, right? So, right on the line. Because Central Standard, my time zone is GMT -8. I'm glad you decided to spend some of your night here. Yep, you know, welcome. I stream various games. I'm better at some of them than others. I'm not very good at any of them. But I like work full time and stuff, so it's not like I'm streaming, you know, 100 hours a week. But, you know, like almost every day, most of the time. Been playing a bunch of the Oblivion remaster, and then this, and then I also play Minecraft and stuff. I have a really big wheat field in Minecraft if you want to check that out. I'm always encouraging people to go there. You never know how much wheat I mean when I say I have a lot of it until you go and see it. Can you say I stream a lot for having a job? Yeah, you know, people tell me that a bunch. Well, the thing is that I, in spite of being an old person, you know, don't have any. I don't have any children, you know. I don't have any romantic entanglements, and I don't even really have to worry about the dog very much. It's my brother's dog, although obviously if the dog needs me, I will come when I am called. So whenever I don't have to work, all of my time is free time. Like, absolutely all of it. I don't ever have to do anything that's not play video games if I'm not at work or sleeping. Which is just as awesome as it sounds. It's exactly as awesome as it sounds. It's the greatest. It's all I ever wanted for my life. I mean, I would prefer to have been born rich and not have to work and just be able to play games. But being able to play games absolutely all of the time and have to work is still fine. Like, even whenever I was a kid, I understood I would have to work. I just told myself, one day you're going to be able to play games just all the time. No one's going to tell you anything at all. And it's going to be every bit as good as you dream it could be. And I was right, you know. I didn't always believe in that dream, but it's here now. I cannot play anything but this level. But thank you for the recommendation all the same. Yeah, the other thing, Q, is you have to remember that I'm like super boring and I'm just like rambling the whole time. Plenty of people that stream, you know, like they have a whole like artificial persona. The only thing I'm doing here is not cursing like at all, which I do absolutely all of the time in my normal life. Uh, but you know, I try to keep it relatively like clean and euphemism full rather than coarse. I work in a kitchen, you know, it's a rough and tumble environment where I work. But you know, like it doesn't really take anything out of me to talk to myself because I mean, unless like chat's being like rowdy or bad, which has only happened like 2 times ever. Like, I'm not very popular, which helps. I might actually quit if a bunch of people started watching me. I don't know if I would react well. Plenty of people's idea of a good time and mine don't mesh when there's a lot of them, you know. 10's a great amount of people, but like 1,000, how would you wouldn't even be able to talk to anybody. Anyway, I shouldn't even worry about that. It's unlikely to ever be my problem, right? But I think everybody has those daydreams. Just probably a lot of people don't tell the truth about having them. Like, well, if I was the greatest singer in the world, wouldn't that get kind of tiring? I don't know if I would want to tour all the time. Okay, I guess I won't become a pop star, since the touring would make me feel tired. And now you don't have to worry about the fact that you can't even sing. If you have a level recommendation and it's Death Moon, I'll play it. But we're not leaving Death Moon. Unless I beat it. Or I quit the game. Or I quit trying to beat Death Moon. I appreciate the sentiment, though. It's like everyone is a force in the universe trying to make me not beat Death Moon. They all want me to step away. Like my body is a force trying to make me sleep instead of beat Death Moon. My boss is a force trying to extract, value via my labor instead of me beating Death Moon. And I'm a meat popsicle who is, talking rather than beating Death Moon. All forces conspire against me. What do I use to jump? The A button on this Xbox 360 controller. I play on a PC on Steam, but I have nerve issues in my hands, so like repetitive index finger motions, they can't be a thing for me, unfortunately. If I could play with a mouse, I would be much better than this. Not much better, slightly better. I know, because like times I've picked up a mouse with like ship and wave, and I'm instantly better. But I would only be able to play for like a handful of minutes at a time. I was playing with like a PS4 controller, but it like got really worn out and bad, and like the USB connection was like getting wonky even after I like cleaned it out with isopropyl and stuff, right? And so it would just like come undone, like the leads, because I mean it was an old controller, right? And I live in Arkansas where the humidity is very high, and so anyway, it would just like stop being plugged in. It would stop working just randomly, and I finally had enough of it coming undone in the middle of gaming sessions and got this one just a few weeks ago. But it's already like breaking, right? Because I've already hit the A button like 50,000 times, and like about 50,000, right? I don't know the exact amount, the game knows. But yes, the A button on the Xbox controller, I crashed. This right here. Blah. Up arrow is probably what I would use if my hands worked right. Or I would use the mouse click. But neither of those is really that viable of a choice. I just can't play clicky games anymore. Which is a bummer. Now I'll never know how truly bad I would be at my real-time strategy games of choice. I'll just have to know that I would be very bad indeed. I've never been good at RTS games, not actually, but I've always loved them very much. They're the bulk of what I watch on YouTube. And has been the case since, like, 08? Yeah, like 08 would have been whenever I discovered English commentary for StarCraft 1, and then shortly after that, Warcraft 3 commentary. And there's actually a guy that I used to watch in those days called Crota, who still to this day makes Warcraft 3 commentary videos, and I still watch his stuff. He's put up thousands and thousands of videos, and I've seen probably 80 or 90% of them. And if I had functioning hands right now, I might be playing Warcraft 3 instead of this game, where you only need a functioning thumb as long as you have an Xbox controller. That was almost a little too sharp going in the doorway there at the top, but ended up being okay. All right. We'll just do this little speedy nonsense, and then... Nope. I was on a bad trajectory. I should have fallen more, I thought. I think you guys could hear me saying nope before I crashed. Like, as soon as I hit the button, I was like, no, I wasn't supposed to, but I didn't have time to tell this useless human body not to do that thing as if I am in control of it. All I had time to do was say no, and then all the O's got cut off, and I said nope very quickly instead. But inside, you know, there were lots of screaming vowels. The vowels went on forever, voweling it up. Now all the O's are silent. Never, ever, ever gonna beat this level. It's okay. I'm not upset about it. I am cheerful about my role in the universe as a person who is destined to play this level for an extended period of time. Okay. Darkstorm, thank you for your good luck wishes. Why did you say the way you learned to speak English was YouTube and video games? Oh, cool. I have a couple of viewers from various non-English language traditions, and their stories are much the same. They watch YouTube and other like gaming media, or like TV or whatever, and that was like a huge part of their acquisition of English language skills, which I think is super cool. And it sort of delights me too, because I have what can charitably be described as a unique, linguistic and rhetorical style when I speak. There's not a lot of people who choose to use the English language like I do, say. So it's always fun for me that people like with relatively lower exposure to the language are using me to learn from, and good for them. They'll be speaking like educated, gentle people in no time. It'll be a real mustache twirling, monocle clad affair. You'll be able to wear a vest inside our party. All right. No! Thought I missed it. All right, now we're through here. Triplets, 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 drop. All right. Back to this again. You can just rock up safely. Let's just not crash. Got that new best. Got that total crushing success. Ah, well. At least we got it right. Ah, my heart. Ah, my heart. Woo. Ah. Ay, what a... Oh, man. Crashing's not great, but at least we got another big improvement, right? Going from 64 to 75 in a vid is great. And I've done 75 to the end of this level like 10 times, right? And we've done 63 to the end a few times. So we just gotta convert these segments together, right? It's all we gotta do. Hi, Game Breaker. Yes, indeed. New best. Welcome. But yeah, because, the last, 8 or 9% is essentially totally free. I mean, you could theoretically die on it, but it's basically free. I love this song. I don't know the name of it. Ah, stuck. Hello, the creator. This isn't the default icon. It's just very close to the default icon. I changed it one time when I started. I believe the mouth is slightly higher set, or maybe slightly longer. I don't know. I remember I did something with the mouth. I think it's slightly up closer to the eyes than it used to be. Look, I was gonna change the icon. I was gonna make it black because black is my favorite color. Because I'm still an emo kid, I got the heart of a sad punk, like the Not a Surf song says. I love the color black. It's the greatest. But yeah, but now we're Sir Green Blockington, and we gotta have him. Sir Green Blockington is absolutely just as much of a heart of this project as I am. You know, it's my ridiculous human body with the inputs. It's my ridiculous human brain with the thoughts. But it's him. It's his sadly faded pixels that suffer and explode and perish thousands of times on the altar of our amusement. And I can no more change him than I can change myself, which some people think I can change, but the world is full of fools, is it not? They will tell you, too, that a leopard can change its ornaments. That a parrot will dye its feathers. But not me. I don't want to lie to you. I crashed. Stuck. Your favorite color is blue? It's a good color. Blue, or as the French say, bleu. So when you have a steak and it's barely cooked at all, the temperature of that is called blue. So we have an opportunity to say that at work a lot. And I am always doing it Frenchified. Not least, so I'm from a state in the U.S. called Arkansas, which is spelled with like a silent S at the end and stuff because of French. So like saying things in French accents is just a part of life. I grew up next to a bayou, for example. How do you say bayou without sounding like a Frenchman? I mean, you could sound like real Southern, but as I've explained before, not in this stream. I only use my Southern accent for culturally appropriate venues, like fish fries and the like. I crashed. But I quite like green, and blue's a fine color too, but, you know, they restricted my choices when I designed the character, right? And then by the time they gave me more choices, I was already attached to these, you know? You gotta dance with the one you brought. And Sir Green Blockington to me, we'd already been through so much together, I could no more abandon him than I could abandon my glorious mustache, although I have cut it off before by accident. Your favorite color is orange? That's a good one too. I'm like, restrain yourself from giving a bunch of orange facts. It's only because I would get some of the details wrong. Like, did you know that William of Orange was the first guy that was famous to be assassinated with a firearm? It's true. Unless it isn't, but I think it is. Did you know that Orange, the region over there in the Netherlands and stuff, was called that before oranges were even in Europe? I'm pretty sure it's even true. I wasn't prepared for orange facts, okay? I didn't know I would have to do orange facts today. Normally I have a little bit of time to prepare. How many countries in Europe can I name? Oh, like probably all of them, but I would have to pause to do it. Let's just start at the far left, right? So you have Greenland, which is part of the Kingdom of Denmark, and then you hit Iceland, and then you have, you know, Portugal, Ireland, Spain. You have the United Kingdom, which is made up of England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland, and then, you know, like the barrier islands there. You have France, Luxembourg, you have Germany, Denmark we've already mentioned, but you know, you hit Denmark right in there. In Central Europe, you have Hungary, and I believe it's called Czechia now. I don't want to say the wrong name, like from the downfall of the USSR. It used to be like the Czech Republic and Slovakia or Czechoslovakia, but I believe it's just called Czechia now. Um, Switzerland, then Italy. You know, we haven't mentioned Italy yet. You have Malta, San Marino, and the Vatican City. Bulgaria, Romania, Croatia, Yugoslavia. Is it called that anymore? I don't want to. Bosnia-Herzegovina. You've got Kosovo. Is that just part of that now? I don't want to be rude. I don't know what's going on exactly in some of these places. Moldova. Did I say Romania and Bulgaria already? Probably. Ukraine, Russia, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, Belarus, Poland, Finland, Sweden, Norway, Liechtenstein. I don't think I mentioned Liechtenstein yet. I sort of jumped around Central Europe. I might have dropped one out. If you had them circled on a map, I absolutely could name all of them. Did I say Moldova? Yeah, that's it's most of them, right? It's most of them. How'd I do on the Europe geography test? And again, I could have done better if I had, if I wasn't playing Geometry Dash and doing it. I was just sort of trying to move around the map of Europe in my head while I was also trying to play this. But I think I did okay-ish. No, I forgot Macedonia and Albania and Greece. I forgot Greece. I forgot Greece, Macedonia, and Albania. That's pretty careless. Part of Turkey on that side of the Bosphorus is in Europe, right? A lot of the Balkans. So let's see. There's Serbia, and look, I'm 38. I remember what's on a globe whenever I was tested on world geography, which is back in the day. You say I did okay on it? Well, that's good, yeah. Slovenia, yeah. Montenegro, no Smithstone. Okay, yeah. Well, Slovenia, that's the one I totally forgot. And Montenegro as well, yeah. I knew it wasn't current. I just, I didn't know what all the names were. And sometimes the names change of things, like Czechia, which has probably been Czechia for a while, but look, when you're old, and look, I've never been to Europe. I would like to go someday, maybe. I don't think they want me to go, though. I don't have very much money, and I don't even know the names of all the countries. But, I still think it's a cool place. But, it's, I embarrass myself. Look, if you had a map, then I could have probably not missed most of them. I think I did sort of fine. I'm embarrassed. I should have gotten all of them. At least I knew it wasn't called the wrong words anymore. I just didn't know the real ones. But yeah, no, I'm old, Look, the encyclopedias that I grew up learning from in my house, the USSR hadn't even fallen yet. One summer I read a set of encyclopedias with a bunch of totally outdated information because they were from 1978, and the world had been quite different then than it was, in 93. At least they didn't call Russia the Soviet Union. No, I would not be inclined to make that mistake. Czechia and Slovakia are separate since the very start of all that? Okay, well, there you go. And it's been 20 years since Yugoslavia. Awesome. Well, you know, shows what I know, right? Terrible. Your grandma said, I don't remember that flag when it showed a Russian flag. The flag of the Russian Federation, you mean? Well, you know, it has not been the flag in use for a terribly long time. I almost forgot to list Greece when I was listing the countries in Europe. That's so funny to me. Y'all might be able to tell it from the books, but I'm like a books guy, you know, so to forget that Greece existed is a pretty funny thing. But I was playing Geometry Dash at the time. Come on. Terrible. Do I have the music on? No, I'm just listening to whatever music is playing on the stream. I never have played Geometry Dash with the level music on. I'm afraid of copyright strikes. It's been explained to me that I don't actually understand how it works, but until I do understand how it works, I'm not messing with that. People say the game is easier with the music, at least for some levels, but, you know, I'll just have to take their word for it. No, I remember, like, whenever I was checking, like, how things were whenever I did, like, the very first levels, I was like, oh, the music on the title screen is cool, this music on Stereo Madness is kind of cool, but then, you know, I turned it off and haven't had a Geometry Dash song on since. Before I stream a game, I just, like, look it up on Reddit, and if somebody anywhere on the internet ever says they've had a problem with streaming the audio on a game, I don't do it. I either don't play the game or I don't play the audio on it. Just like one person in the history of people is all it takes for me not to do it. And I mean, no disrespect to the people. Look, musicians deserve to be compensated for their work. All artists deserve to be compensated for their work. I don't want to use something that's going to potentially have me running afoul of people that I don't even know, right? So If I just see that people have had problems with it, I'm just going to steer clear. It's not that I don't want, you know, the musical artists to get their due. It's that I'm afraid of interacting with people I don't know. Especially when they're like, you're using a thing that belongs to me. It makes me feel like I'm a kid in South Park, and I'm going, oh no. You know, like, please don't show me anything I have to read. I'm just a little kid. I don't want to get sued. I know it's not that, you know, they don't sue you. They just, you know, send you a letter or maybe a notification. I don't know. Once upon a time, I played this mod of a game and it had some song in it, and I got like an email, and then I deleted that video and I never played that mod ever again. It doesn't take much to threaten me if you're like a lawyer. If you're like a dude, it might take a little bit more than like a letter. But if you're a lawyer, it'd happen automatically. You can just be like, you know, I'm an attorney, and I'll just run away. Because, like, I have got mail on my table in the other room from 6 months ago I haven't opened. But if you don't open mail from a lawyer, they can, like, take your money. It's very scary. So I don't want to mess with anybody at all when it comes to their rights. I prefer to use the YouTube audio library, where they've assured me I'll be able to do it, and no one will ever get mad at me. Some games have like settings to disable, but of course the songs are such an integral part of the levels. I see that wouldn't, you know, be practicable. And of course, you know, not every game is built to be streamed for people on the internet, you know, and that's fine too. Like, I played a bunch of Dead by Daylight a couple years ago, which I've never streamed. I wasn't streaming at that point. But they have, like, a button where you can just disable all the copyrighted music that might happen in the game. You know, the little jingles, the little copyrighted stuff, and then it replaces it with other stuff. And I think that's a really good compromise, you know. But, of course, it is more work, but that's the sort of thing that, you know, developers could do in certain circumstances to, you know, both have those iconic soundtracks from, you know, horror franchises that they didn't have the rights to just put onto YouTube, but also, you know, keep them in the game for everybody that wasn't trying to stream it. But, you know, just stuff like that. But I see very much how that kind of thing in Geometry Dash levels wouldn't be practical, since they're, you know, they're very much tied to it from what I've understood. I've watched like Clutterfunk after I'd beat it, like a month after I beat it, as old Bouncy was telling me to check out for the song. He said I wouldn't expect what it was like, and he was right. You know, it was amazing. I didn't expect it, but yeah, the mod lets you customize the songs. Nice. You say they need to add something that tells you if it's copyrighted or not. Every time you play, you just pray you don't get a warning. Yeah, you know, and that uncertainty is not great. And I don't, you know, people have told me, people with much bigger channels than mine, have told me that, you know, it's not like that big a deal. It's not the end of the world. But I just don't want to, you know, I don't want any heat. You know, and if there's some level where I could play with the music and be certain that it would be okay, you know, then I would be happy to do that. But, oh man, that's rough. But like, what if one day I do get monetized in some way that matters, and they want to give me like 4 or even 5 cents for this video? Well, if if it got copyrighted, then somebody else would get my 4 or even 5 cents. And imagine how I would feel without those 4 pennies or nickel. Not well. I wouldn't feel good. I fell off that pillar again. It's pretty bad. But I figure, you know, there's plenty of games where they want you to play them as they are. And, you know, if you're going to play one like this that isn't built that way, you know, just work around it or don't, as you prefer. Oh, sure. That's obnoxious. Okay. Whatever. Got stuck. Okay. Okay. I literally don't know how that happens. I think if you just jump at the very, very start of the pillar, so if you just wait like a little bit, then you won't happen, but if you're holding and you get on the very beginning of it, it can maybe. I just know it happens to me sometimes, and every time I act like I don't know why. It's because I don't know why. It's like every time I get here, it's like now I feel like any run could win, but it takes so many runs to get here, right? Because I'm so bad. Alright. Breathing is good. Breathing is very important as a strategy for navigating inside of a human body. Why? Terrible. Good night, Bon. Thanks for stopping by. Nice to make your acquaintance. I knew it. I knew I knew the angle was bad. I almost started complaining about it before I died, but I waited slightly too long. So like maybe I didn't know it, but I knew it. I knew it the whole time. Okay, sure. Okay, sure. Pretty bad. Pretty bad indeed. I should have seen, like, I thought I saw it with enough time. I was like, no, this will be fine, but looked a little low, was a little low. What are you gonna do? Just die again. Poor Sir Green Blockington. Nobody knows the troubles he's seen. Nobody knows the sorrow. Okay. Really thought I was on the right line for that. Feels bad. I mean, not bad, you know what I mean. Underwhelming. Okay. A little bit of stuck there. You know, at least 1,000 of these attempts are just dying at the beginning, so they don't count. Except how they obviously do count. Well, thought I was getting safer there. Wasn't. Oh, that's bad. Totally imperfect. Okay, sure. Sure. Okay. I guess that's what we're doing now. Guess we're just crashing there now. I guess that's what's hot on the streets. Guess we're just gonna die there. So annoying. Thought we were gonna crack our head there, but we got away with it. Guess how many demons you have? 175. Feels bad. Just on that protruding hitbox that goes further out than the side of the thorn. Died on those so many times here. You know, they're just a thing to know about. It's not like the level is tricking me. I just, you know, I know not to do that too. In case anybody thinks I thought I could drive through the top of that pillar, I did not. I just tried to anyway. Oh, well. I thought I was stuck, and then I thought I was unstuck. Then we unstuck it too hard. Oh well. Whoops. You don't do that jump there, which as soon as I did it, I knew it was wrong. I didn't even have to have the game tell me I was gonna die. I knew. I've done that section like 1,000 times now, right? Like 600 when we were practicing it, and then a few more as we get to it. And you know, you just know when you're gonna die there. There's no room for hitting the wrong button. Not that there usually is in this game. This thing of ours. Bad angles made them work anyway. Let's just see what we can do here. Okay, we can immediately die. Oh, right, you can't jump there. Terrible. All right. All right. Triplets. No! Terrible, terrible. That's not how to play a triplet. Oh well. Now we can try 50 more times to get that far again so we can fail. Maybe 100 more. It's just a lot of ways to fail. Sometimes on 4%, sometimes further. Which hurts worse, I wonder. This is gonna, I was like, we're gonna get to this attempt trying to swap music with my left hand on the keyboard, trying to hit two buttons that are very far away. That are not buttons that I normally would, right? Like, I don't know where function and F4 are by touching a keyboard like I would if it was, you know, like an F or a 4. Feels bad. Feels bad. Okay. Oh, well, there you go. You just a little bit too sharp. Pretty bad. Pretty bad. And of course, for every one time we get that far to die, there's 15 times that we die somewhere dumb, like here, 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 or here. Or, you know, here. Oh well. It doesn't matter. I died there again. Oh, sure. Sure. Okay. Okay. Welcome back, normal person. Crash. Oh. Really thought I had enough vertical there. Clearly wrong. Very clearly wrong. You could tell by the way that I died. Hey TinyZilla, how's it going? We've had some improvements this stream. But not enough for me to believe that I'm gonna beat it, you know. But yeah, just chilling. It's my day off. I filled out some government forms and stuff. It took like 2 minutes. I did this yesterday too. It was just some different stuff. And then I decided to spend the rest of my day, since I spent 2 minutes doing adult stuff, I decided to spend the rest of my day eating snacks and playing video games, which I was gonna do anyway. But now I feel totally vindicated. Oh. Oh, completed the attempt. I beat it. Yeah, it's a very wise statement. The identity property of victory. Oh, well. All right. Ah, man, if I would just stop doing that. I don't know what it is about those diamonds, but I sure do die on them. Okay. Well, all right. I think that's about all we're gonna get today, guys. Yeah. We'll do one more, but it's about all our hand is gonna get. So here we go. Last attempt. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Maybe we'll beat it this time. I sure don't know, but the hand is saying that's all that we're gonna get. So it's the one that's in charge after all. But maybe we can get a successful thing here. Well, there you go. There we go. Tail of the tape. 5,367 attempts. 50,280 jumps. 75%. So far away from beating it, but that doesn't matter. Maybe we'll get it one day. Maybe not. Probably won't play Geometry Dash again until Sunday night. Because, I'll be working this weekend, and I don't usually play after I get off work, but theoretically I could play before then, but probably Sunday night. But there we go. That's that. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Bye Q. Bye normal person. It was nice to make your acquaintance. Perhaps I'll see you guys in another stream or video. If you're watching in the future, I hope the weather is nice, and perhaps we'll see you out there. Bye guys.